Hey everyone, welcome to The Explainer. I am so pumped you're here. If you're a focused learner looking to completely decode the upcoming CBSE Class 10 Maths board exams for the 2026-2027 session, you've landed in exactly the right spot. We're going to bring some serious energy and structure to this topic, breaking down the exact mechanics, the hidden secrets, and the strategies you absolutely need to know straight from the official sources.
Let's just be totally honest for a second. There is a ton of pressure and anxiety surrounding these board exams, especially with all the chatter about new rules and shifting patterns tied to the national education policy. It kind of feels like the ground is constantly shifting under your feet, right? But what if I told you that once you actually look at the blueprint, the exam goes from being this terrifying, unpredictable monster to a highly predictable, totally solvable puzzle? Now, check out this massive number. 50%. This is literally the biggest shift you need to get your head around. Exactly half of your total theory marks will now come from competency-based questions. That means the days of rote memorization, officially out the window. The board doesn't just want to know if you can parrot back a formula. They want to see if you can actually apply it in the real world.
But hey, before you start panicking about that 50%, I've got some incredible news. Starting in 2026, the CBSE is rolling out a twice-a-year exam system for Class 10. You'll take your main, mandatory exam in February. Then, if you feel like you want to bump up your score, you've got a second, completely optional attempt waiting for you in May. It is a total game changer, designed to drastically reduce that exam day stress.
Okay, let's dive right in. Here's our game plan for today's explainer. We're going to cover 1. The 2026 exam paradigm. 2. CBSE Maths weightage secrets. 3. Decoding the section structure. 4. Cracking competency-based questions. And finally, 5. The winning preparation strategy.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the 2026 exam paradigm and understanding the new board rules.
So your 100 marks are split into two very distinct buckets. You've got an 80-mark, 3-hour external theory paper. But then you also have this 20-mark slice for your internal assessment. Now these are points awarded by your school for periodic tests, portfolios, and practicals. The huge takeaway here? Do not sleep on your school tests. Syncing your board prep with your internal school assessments is literally the easiest way to secure those 20 marks right out of the gate.
Now you might be taking Maths Standard or Maths Basic, but here's the secret. That 80-20 split we just talked about, it remains totally identical for both. They cover the exact same units and chapters. The only thing that actually shifts is the difficulty level of the paper itself. Standard leans heavy on those analytical questions, whereas Basic is going to focus a bit more on fundamental direct concepts.
Moving on to Section 2, CBSE Maths weighted secrets. Basically, where the points actually are.
If you want to study smarter, not harder, this is exactly where you should be spending your time. Algebra is sitting pretty at the top with a massive 20 marks. Geometry's got 15. Trigonometry brings in 12. If you master just those 3 units, you're locking in 47 out of your 80 theory marks. So if you want to optimize your study sessions, this data is your master blueprint. Always, always prioritize these high-weightage chapters first.
Okay, let's jump to Section 3, decoding the section structure and hacking those 38 questions.
Your 80-mark paper is essentially a giant puzzle made of exactly 38 questions, spread across 5 sections. You kick off with 20 multiple-choice and assertion reasoning questions in Section A. Then we ramp up. 5 very short answers in B, 6 short ones in C, 4 long answers carrying 5 marks each in D, and finally, 3 case-based integrated questions in Section E. Memorizing this layout means absolutely 0 surprises when you flip open that booklet on exam day.
Now let me share an ultimate hidden rule that every smart student needs to remember. Step-by-step marking is real. CBSE evaluators actively give out partial credit. That means if you write down the correct standard formula and show your method, you are going to get marks for those steps, even if you make a silly arithmetic error and your final calculation goes completely off the rails. Never, ever erase your workings.
All right, on to Section 4, cracking competency-based questions, or as I like to call it, disguised mathematics. So, let's address the elephant in the room. Remember that 50% figure from the beginning? 40 of your marks are living right here, testing application, not memory. But honestly, this is exactly why you shouldn't panic. Look at it this way. On one side, you have a classic, straightforward NCRT question asking you to solve a basic quadratic equation. On the other side, you've got this whole story about a farmer partitioning a rectangular field. Here is the absolute secret. It is the exact same math. The underlying calculations haven't changed one bit. They are just dressing up a standard quadratic equation in a fancy real-world costume. It's just disguised mathematics.
So the crucial skill here is knowing how to unmask these questions. Here's your tactical advantage. First, figure out the chapter. If the scenario talks about a savings plan with increasing deposits, boom, that's an arithmetic progression. If it mentions the shadow of a tower, that's trigonometry. Once you map it to a chapter, you just extract the raw numbers, plug them into your standard NCERT formulas, and write down every single step.
Finally, Section 5, the winning preparation strategy. This is your ultimate master plan.
We've covered the rules, the weightage, and the structure. Now we're tying all this intel together into a highly actionable, step-by-step roadmap to peak exam readiness. Step 1. Start with that NCERT textbook. It is your absolute foundation. Step 2. Attack those high-weighted chapters like algebra and geometry first. Step 3. Don't just read. Actively practice the official competency-focused practice questions released by CBSE. And Step 4. Once you've covered the syllabus, sit down and crush full-length sample papers under a strict 3-hour time limit to build that exam day stamina.
And while you're grinding through those sample papers, burn this vital exam day secret into your brain. There is 0 negative marking in the CBSE Class 10 board exams. That means you should literally never, ever leave a multiple choice question in Section A blank. If you are totally stuck, take your best educated guess, because there is absolutely no penalty for trying.
I want to highlight a piece of advice straight from our source material on the new exam patterns that really hit the nail on the head. Start early, stay consistent, and focus on understanding over memorizing. That is the only strategy that works for this paper. With half the paper testing your actual comprehension, those days of cramming the night before are gone. Understanding the why behind the math, that's your greatest weapon.
So you've got the secrets to the section structures, the exact weightage you need to target, and the game plan for unmasking those tricky competency questions. The blueprint for the 2026-27 CBSE Maths exam is officially in your hands. But here's the real question. The board isn't just testing your memory anymore. They're testing your adaptability and logic. So are you going to rely on the old ways of cramming, or are you ready to use this strategy to absolutely conquer your boards?